Are you tired of feeling like you're stuck, endlessly spinning your wheels while others seem to move ahead? It's frustrating, right? You work hard, put in the effort, but you still feel like you're standing still. You've probably asked yourself, why is this happening? Why am I still here while others are living their dreams? The truth is, the reason you're stuck is not your circumstances, your job, or your lack of resources. It's much deeper than that. But here's the good news. The key to breaking free is closer than you think. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or hoping that something will magically change. It's about understanding the one thing that's been holding you back and taking action now. In this session, we're going to uncover that key, reveal what's keeping you stuck, and show you how to break free from it. This is not just another motivational speech, it's a practical roadmap for real transformation. Stick with me, because by the end of this talk, you'll be ready to leave the cycle of frustration behind and start moving toward the life you've always dreamed of. The truth behind why you're stuck is simple, but it might be hard to hear. It's not your job, not your lack of resources, and certainly not your circumstances. The real reason you're stuck is because of your mindset. It's the way you're thinking, or more importantly, the way you're not thinking. The struggles you're facing aren't coming from the outside world, they're coming from within. You're trapped in a cycle of thinking that holds you back and prevents you from seeing the opportunities right in front of you. You tell yourself things like, I can't, or it's too late, or I'm just not good enough. And every time you think that, you're reinforcing the wall around you. But here's what you need to understand. Your mindset is the single most powerful tool you have to change your situation. If you change the way you think, you change everything. But it starts with awareness. So ask yourself, what are the beliefs and thoughts that are holding you back right now? Recognize them, name them, and then start challenging them. It's time to realize something you might have overlooked. Your potential is much bigger than you've been giving yourself credit for. You've been conditioned to believe certain things about yourself, but those beliefs don't define you. The truth is, your mind holds the key to your freedom. It's the force behind every decision you make, every action you take, and ultimately every result you achieve. Your beliefs, even the ones that feel true, can limit you or propel you forward. The question is, what kind of beliefs are you going to choose? You are not your past, you are not your mistakes, and you are definitely not the limits you've placed on yourself. Today, it's time to start recognizing the power you already have within you to break free from these limitations. You're not stuck because of your circumstances. You're stuck because of what you've been telling yourself. It's time to change the script. Your mindset is your biggest ally or your worst enemy. It can either propel you towards success or trap you in doubt and fear. The most powerful thing you can do today is to become aware of the thoughts running through your mind. What are you telling yourself every day? If you've ever found yourself thinking, I can't do this, or it's too hard, then that mindset is keeping you stuck. But here's the good news, you can change those thoughts. Every time you catch yourself in negative thinking, you have the power to reframe it. Instead of thinking, I can't, think, I haven't learned how, but I will. Instead of thinking, it's too hard, think, this will be a challenge, but I am capable of overcoming it. Your thoughts create your reality. They shape how you see the world, how you react to challenges, and how you interact with others. Change the lens through which you see yourself in the world, and you'll unlock a whole new set of possibilities. Now, let me tell you something about fear. Fear is the silent dream killer. It's the thing that stops you from taking action, from reaching your potential, from stepping into the life you know you're capable of. We're all afraid of something: failure, rejection, looking stupid. But here's the kicker, fear is actually your fuel. It's the thing that shows you what matters most. It points out your weaknesses so you can address them. It pushes you to grow, even when it feels uncomfortable. If you've ever felt fear, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But here's the secret, fear doesn't have to paralyze you. It doesn't have to stop you from taking action. In fact, when you confront your fears head on, you'll realize they're not as big or as powerful as you thought. Embrace failure, learn from it, and keep moving forward. The truth is, fear isn't the problem. It's how you react to it. Use your fear as a springboard, not a stumbling block. Confront it and let it push you toward your success. The comfort zone is a killer. It feels good to stay where it's familiar, where everything feels safe and predictable. But here's the truth. Growth doesn't happen there. Growth happens outside your comfort zone. It happens when you step into the unknown, when you take risks, when you do things that challenge you. The illusion of safety keeps you stuck. And the longer you stay in that space, the more your potential shrinks. If you want to grow, you have to be willing to get uncomfortable. That's where real change happens. But don't worry, it doesn't have to be a giant leap. Start small. Take one action today that pushes you beyond what feels comfortable. Each small step will give you more confidence, more courage, and more momentum. And before you know it, the comfort zone won't be enough for you anymore. You'll be craving growth, craving the challenge, craving the life that's waiting for you on the other side. Thinking isn't enough. I know you've got big ideas, but ideas alone won't get you anywhere. Action is the game changer. Without action, your ideas stay locked inside your head, never turning into anything real. The biggest mistake people make is thinking that they need to have everything figured out before they start. But that's not true. The best time to start is right now. Don't wait for the perfect moment or for everything to fall into place. The truth is, the moment you take action, even if it's a small step, you start moving forward. And as you keep moving, things will begin to fall into place. It's all about building momentum. So stop thinking and start doing. The moment you decide to act is the moment your life begins to change. Success is not built on big, rare breakthroughs. It's built on the small habits you create and stick to every day. Habits are the building blocks of success. Think about it. Everything you do consistently becomes a part of who you are. Whether you realize it or not, your daily habits shape your future. And that's a powerful thing. It means you have control. You have the power to choose what habits you build and what ones you break. Success doesn't happen overnight, but it happens over time, through the accumulation of small, consistent actions. And that starts with the habits you form today. Whether it's waking up early, reading a book every day, or working out, those habits will compound into massive results. So what habit are you going to start with? What can you do today to create the future you want? Remember, habits are the foundation for everything you want in life. Taking responsibility for your life is the most empowering thing you can do. It's the first step toward breaking free from the cycle of frustration. Blaming others, blaming circumstances, blaming everything around you. None of that is going to move you forward. The only person who can change your life is you. You have to own your choices. You have to own your mistakes. You have to own your decisions. When you do that, you take back control. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the creator of your future. It's time to stop pointing fingers and start taking responsibility for your life. When you do, you'll be amazed at how much power you actually have to create the life you've always wanted. If you've been feeling stuck, it's time to create a new vision for your future. Without a vision, you have no direction. Without a roadmap, you're just wandering aimlessly. But when you have a vision, something to strive for, everything changes. Your focus sharpens. Your motivation increases. You begin to take small steps every day toward that vision. And those steps taken consistently lead to massive change. So what is your vision? What do you want your future to look like? Get clear on it and start setting achievable goals. Break those goals down into smaller, actionable steps and take those steps every single day. Progress may be slow at first, but don't give up. Success is the result of consistent effort, not immediate results. Keep moving forward, and the path ahead will become clearer and clearer. The road to your future is waiting for you. It's time to take the first step. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you work, you're stuck? Maybe you're pushing yourself, striving to reach the next level, but no matter how many hours you put in, it feels like you're not moving forward. You look around and see others making progress, achieving their goals, and you can't help but wonder, why not me? Well, let me tell you this. The reason you're stuck has nothing to do with your work ethic or your abilities. It's all in your mindset. Today we're going to uncover the truth about what's been holding you back and how you can break free from it. This is not just another motivational talk. What you're about to hear is a step-by-step guide on how to take control of your mindset and in turn your life. So stay with me. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what's been keeping you stuck and, more importantly, how to get unstuck and start moving forward. Are you ready to break free? Let's dive in. Let's face it. Being stuck is one of the most frustrating feelings we can experience. You're working hard, maybe even harder than most, but you feel like you're going nowhere. Why does it seem like some people are effortlessly moving forward while you're spinning your wheels? Here's the truth. It's not about how hard you work, it's about your mindset. You see, many people think success is simply about putting in more hours, working harder, or waiting for the perfect opportunity, but none of that will matter if your mind isn't in the right place. Your mindset, the way you see yourself, your abilities, and the world around you, has everything to do with how far you can go. When you're stuck, it's not about your circumstances, it's about how you're thinking about those circumstances. You might be telling yourself, I'm not good enough, or I'll never succeed. And that's the trap. The way you perceive your situation shapes how you respond to it. Let me tell you something, this isn't just about thinking positive. It's about understanding the real power of your thoughts. If you constantly believe that your circumstances are unchangeable, you'll stay stuck. But the moment you shift your perspective, when you begin to see that your mindset controls everything, your reality will start to change. Think about the last time you felt stuck. What were you telling yourself? What beliefs were you holding on to that kept you in place? Here's the truth. You have the power to change those beliefs right now. The first step to getting unstuck is realizing that your mindset is your biggest obstacle. Once you shift that, everything else will follow. Now I want to make something crystal clear. Your mindset is the lens through which you view your world. And let me tell you, that lens can either propel you forward or hold you back. Think about it. The way you think about yourself and your abilities determines the actions you take or don't take. If you believe you're not good enough, you'll never push yourself to take risks. If you think success is out of reach, you won't put in the effort required to achieve it. This is where the concept of fixed versus growth mindset comes into play. Carol Dweck, a psychologist, explains that people with a fixed mindset believe their abilities are set in stone. They think, I am who I am, and I can't change. On the other hand, people with a growth mindset believe that their abilities can be developed with effort and learning. And let me tell you, it's the people with a growth mindset who are more likely to push through challenges, learn from failure, and ultimately achieve success. Now you might be wondering, how do I know if I have a fixed mindset? Well, take a moment to think about your thoughts. Are you saying to yourself, I can't do this, or this is too hard? Those are clear signs of a fixed mindset. On the other hand, a growth mindset sounds like, I may not be there yet, but I can get better. Or this is challenging, but I can learn from it. Let me ask you, are your thoughts holding you back? Are you constantly thinking you're not good enough or capable enough? The good news is you can change that. You can choose to adopt a growth mindset, and that shift will change the entire trajectory of your life. Once you change the way you think, you change the actions you take, and the results you get will follow. I need to tell you something that most people won't admit. Fear is the real silent killer of dreams. It's the fear of failure, fear of success, and even fear of the unknown that keeps you from taking action. But here's the kicker, fear is natural. We all feel it. The key isn't to avoid it, but to face it head on. Fear is not the enemy. It's the signal that you're about to make a big move, that you're about to step outside your comfort zone and grow. Here's the thing, staying in your comfort zone feels safe. It feels easy, but it's a trap. And if you stay there too long, you'll never reach your true potential. The greatest opportunities for growth happen when we face our fears, not when we avoid them. Think about it, every time you've taken a risk, every time you've stepped into the unknown, you've grown. Whether you succeeded or failed, you learned something valuable, and that experience pushed you forward. Don't let fear hold you back. Instead, reframe it. See fear as fuel. Every time fear shows up, understand that you're on the verge of something great. Embrace the discomfort, face the unknown, and take action anyway. When you do that, you'll realize that fear is just another part of the process. It's not something to avoid, but something to use. One of the most powerful things you can do is change the story you've been telling yourself. We all have internal narratives, those voices in our heads that tell us what we can and can't do. Maybe yours says you're not good enough or you'll never make it. Those limiting beliefs have been holding you back for far too long. But here's the truth, you are not your thoughts. You are not your past experiences. You are not the story you've been telling yourself. You have the power to rewrite your story. The first step is recognizing those limiting beliefs and challenging them. Ask yourself, is this belief really true? Is it serving me? If the answer is no, it's time to replace that belief with something empowering. Maybe instead of saying I'm not good enough, say I am capable of learning and growing. Instead of I can't do this, say I will figure it out. Real change happens when you change the way you speak to yourself. Your internal dialogue has the power to shape your reality. When you start speaking words of encouragement, empowerment, and possibility, your actions will align with that new narrative, and that's when the magic happens. The comfort zone feels safe. It feels like a place where you can rest, recharge, and avoid risk. But here's the hard truth, staying in your comfort zone will keep you stuck. It's comfortable, yes, but it's also limiting. It's the place where growth goes to die. Every time you play it safe, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to grow. Growth happens when you take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them. The only way to break free from being stuck is to step outside your comfort zone. You don't have to take giant leaps. Even small steps can lead to big change. Start by doing something today that challenges you, something that pushes you beyond what feels safe. The first time you take a step outside your comfort zone, it's uncomfortable. But over time, you'll realize that the discomfort is just a sign that you're growing. Embrace it, lean into it, because that's where your future is waiting for you. Here's the truth, thinking is not enough. It's easy to get caught up in planning, strategizing, and overthinking. But none of that will matter if you don't take action. Thinking alone won't get you anywhere. You need to move. You need to act. A lot of people get stuck in what I call paralysis by analysis. They overthink every decision, every step, until they do nothing. Let me tell you, nothing happens until you take action. Even the smallest step forward is better than standing still. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. Start small. Start today. Take one step and then take another. The more you act, the more you'll learn, and the closer you'll get to your goals. Action is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Where do you want to go? What does success look like for you? If you don't have a clear vision for your future, you're just wandering aimlessly. A vision gives you direction. It helps you focus your energy on what matters most. But it's not enough to have a vision. You need a plan. Break your vision down into actionable steps. Set clear, achievable goals that will get you closer to your desired outcome. And remember, setbacks are inevitable, but don't let them derail you. Use them as opportunities to learn and grow. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. It's the ones who take action on their vision. They create a roadmap, they follow it, and they keep moving forward, no matter what. So take the time to create your vision. Break it down into steps, and then take action. Your future is in your hands. Now go make it happen. Have you ever felt like no matter how hard you try, you're still stuck in the same place, going through the same motions with little to show for it? You're working, grinding, but it feels like progress is out of reach. What if the answer isn't found in working harder or changing your circumstances, but in mastering something far more powerful, your mindset? Today we're going to explore how your thoughts shape your reality, how your mind can either keep you stuck or propel you forward, and how shifting your thinking is the key to unlocking your true potential. This isn't about some abstract feel-good advice. It's about real, actionable steps that will transform how you think, how you act, and how you live. Whether you're tired of struggling with the same challenges or simply want to step into your power, this is the roadmap you've been waiting for. By the end of this talk, you'll see that mastering your mindset isn't just a choice, it's the most important step you can take to create lasting change. Are you ready to make that change? Let's dive in. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. Think about it. Everything you do, everything you achieve, starts with a thought. Your mindset shapes your decisions, your actions, and ultimately, your life. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to thrive no matter what comes their way, while others struggle even when they're putting in maximum effort, the difference often comes down to mindset. A positive, growth-oriented mindset fuels success, while a negative, closed mindset keeps you stuck in a cycle of frustration and self-doubt. The power of your thoughts lies in their ability to shape your actions. Think about it. When you believe you can succeed, you take the necessary actions to make it happen. But when you believe that failure is inevitable, your actions reflect that belief. You hesitate. You procrastinate. You don't give your best. That's why the first step in transforming your life is changing the way you think. When you master your thoughts, you master your life. Take a look at someone like Oprah Winfrey. She's faced more setbacks and challenges than most people can imagine. But what set her apart wasn't just hard work or luck, it was her mindset. She believed in her ability to create something bigger, and she didn't let her circumstances define her future. That belief, that unwavering confidence in herself, led her to extraordinary success. You don't need a perfect start or an ideal situation to succeed. What you need is the right mindset, one that propels you toward action instead of holding you back. Now, how do you start mastering your mindset? First, take a hard look at the thoughts you're allowing to run through your head. Are they empowering or limiting? Are they pushing you toward growth or keeping you in a state of fear and doubt? The truth is, if you don't control your thoughts, they'll control you. And if you're letting negative thoughts dominate your mind, you're robbing yourself of the power to change. Your mind is like a garden. What you plant today will determine what you reap tomorrow. If you constantly plant seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity, you will grow a garden of self-sabotage, limiting beliefs, and missed opportunities. But if you choose to plant seeds of confidence, hope, and possibility, you will cultivate a life filled with growth, success, and fulfillment. The choice is yours. Negative thinking is one of the biggest obstacles that keeps people stuck. Fear, doubt, and worry are toxic thoughts that cloud your judgment and prevent you from taking action. But here's the thing, negative thoughts don't serve you. They don't help you move forward, and they don't bring you closer to your goals. In fact, they do the opposite. They keep you trapped. When you let negative thinking control your life, you create a self-fulfilling prophecy. You start believing that you can't succeed, and because of that belief, you don't take the steps necessary to make your dreams a reality. Think about someone like Michael Jordan, who despite being cut from his high school basketball team, didn't let rejection define him. He could have given in to negative thoughts like "I'm not good enough" or "I'll never make it," but instead, he used that setback as fuel. He turned his challenges into motivation and kept pushing forward. Jordan didn't let negative thinking hold him back. He learned to reframe his failures as stepping stones toward success. This is a powerful lesson for you. When you encounter fear or doubt, don't let them stop you. Use them to propel you forward. Every time you feel afraid, take that as a sign that you're on the verge of growth. Don't run from it. Lean into it. Fear is just a signal that you're stepping outside your comfort zone, and that's where real transformation happens. It's also important to reframe challenges. Life isn't a straight path, and you're going to face obstacles. But those obstacles don't have to be roadblocks. They can be stepping stones. The difference lies in how you choose to view them. Successful people don't see challenges as insurmountable problems. They see them as opportunities to learn and grow. When Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, he didn't see that as the end of his career. He saw it as an opportunity to reinvent himself and create something even bigger. That shift in perspective was what allowed him to achieve what he did. You have the power to do the same. Right now, think about a challenge you're facing. Instead of seeing it as something that's holding you back, try reframing it as an opportunity for personal growth. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this make me stronger? How can I use this setback to get closer to my goals? The key to shifting your mindset is positive self-talk. The words you speak to yourself shape how you see yourself and how you act. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough or that you can't succeed, you're reinforcing negative beliefs. But if you tell yourself, I am capable, I am strong, I can handle whatever comes my way, you're reprogramming your brain for success. Affirmations are a powerful tool in this process. They allow you to challenge negative thoughts and replace them with positive, empowering statements. Think about the impact these words can have on your life. Just as a plant needs water and sunlight to grow, your mind needs positive thoughts to thrive. Daily affirmations can help rewire your brain to focus on the possibilities instead of the limitations. Gratitude is another powerful tool that can help you shift your mindset. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you train your mind to look for the positive in every situation. Gratitude shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance. It helps you realize that there's always something to be thankful for, even in the toughest of times. Start incorporating gratitude into your daily life. Keep a gratitude journal. Take time to reflect on the things you're thankful for, and watch how your mindset begins to shift. The impact of your thoughts goes beyond just you. It affects your relationships and the world around you. When you cultivate a positive mindset, it creates a ripple effect. Your positive energy lifts those around you, and your interactions improve. On the other hand, negative thinking can poison relationships and create barriers in your personal and professional life. Think about the people who inspire you. Chances are they have a positive, growth-oriented mindset, and that mindset has helped them build strong, supportive relationships. Your thoughts are the foundation for everything in your life. They shape your actions, your relationships, and your success. So, take control of your thoughts. Master your mindset. When you do, everything else in your life will begin to shift. The life you want is waiting for you. Start by changing the way you think, and you'll change the world around you. Do you feel like something is always holding you back from reaching your full potential? That invisible barrier stopping you from taking risks or making bold moves? Let me ask you, what's truly keeping you stuck? Is it fear of failure or possibly even fear of success? We all experience fear, but it's how we respond to it that defines our future. Today we're going to break down how fear keeps us trapped in cycles of inaction and self-doubt. This isn't just about getting over fear, it's about shifting your perspective on failure. The truth is, failure isn't something to avoid, it's something to embrace. In fact, failure is the very thing that propels you towards success. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn is not just how to overcome fear, but how to use failure as your greatest teacher. By the end of this session, you'll be ready to see mistakes as stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. Let's dive in, and let me show you how to break free from the fear holding you back. Fear is the invisible barrier that keeps you from moving forward. It's sneaky. It can show up as doubt, anxiety, or procrastination, and it convinces you that staying still is safer than taking a risk. But let me tell you something, fear will keep you stuck. It's that nagging feeling that you're not good enough or that something bad will happen if you step outside of your comfort zone. What you need to understand is that fear doesn't keep you safe, it keeps you small. Fear of failure often paralyzes people, making them avoid taking action because they're afraid of falling short. But equally as dangerous is the fear of success. The fear of what will happen if you actually succeed, what will change, how you'll be expected to keep up with new demands. This fear creates a paradox. You want success, but you hold yourself back because success means change, and change means uncertainty. Why does fear hold us captive? Because it taps into one of our most basic human instincts, the fear of the unknown. When we're confronted with something new, our minds try to protect us from perceived danger, even if that danger is simply a new challenge. It's easier to stay where it feels safe, even if where you are isn't where you want to be. But the truth is, if you don't break free from this cycle, it will continue to trap you. Fear keeps you playing small, keeps you from reaching your full potential. And let me be clear, your future won't change if you don't make a change. Fear is just a feeling, and feelings don't control your destiny unless you let them. Think of someone you admire, someone who has achieved great things. Whether it's a celebrity, a business leader, or an athlete, they've all faced fear, but they didn't let it control them. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for TV, but she didn't let that stop her. She turned her fear of failure into motivation. And what about Steve Jobs? He was fired from the company he created. How's that for failure? But he didn't let that setback define him. He came back bigger and better and changed the world. I want you to take a moment and reflect on your own fears. What's holding you back right now? Write it down. Is it the fear of failing, the fear of not measuring up, or maybe it's the fear of success, of stepping into something unknown? Whatever it is, recognize it. Fear isn't the enemy. Fear is just a signal, a call to action. If you face it head on, you can break through it. Fear is the prison, and you hold the key. Don't let it control you. Break free. Failure isn't a setback, it's a lesson. It's the most powerful teacher you'll ever have if you let it be. So many people live in fear of failure, afraid that making a mistake will ruin everything. But let me tell you something, mistakes don't ruin your life. They guide you, they show you what works and what doesn't. Failure helps you grow. It's the thing that makes you better, stronger, smarter. Without failure, there is no progress. Without mistakes, there is no learning. Thomas Edison is a perfect example. Do you know how many times he failed before he invented the light bulb? Over 1,000 times. But he didn't see those failures as defeats. He saw them as lessons, as steps toward success. Every time something didn't work, he was one step closer to what would. He redefined what failure meant. It wasn't the end, it was just part of the journey. And he became one of the greatest inventors of all time. You have the same potential within you, but that potential won't unlock unless you change how you see failure. Right now, you might be afraid to fail. But if you keep thinking that failure is something to avoid, you'll never make progress. Every successful person has failed. They've all made mistakes. The key difference is that they didn't give up. They got up, learned from their mistakes, and kept moving forward. So how do you start reframing failure in your own life? First, change your mindset. Instead of seeing failure as a dead end, view it as a lesson. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Learn from your mistakes, adjust your approach, and keep going. The more you fail, the closer you are to succeeding. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're your greatest teachers. Embrace them. The fear of mistakes is the silent dream killer. Perfectionism convinces us that we need to do everything perfectly, that any mistake is a failure. But here's the truth. Perfection is an illusion. Perfectionism isn't the path to success. Progress is. You're not going to get everything right, and that's okay. You're supposed to make mistakes. Mistakes help you grow. Perfectionism, on the other hand, keeps you stuck. It makes you afraid to try because you're so focused on doing everything flawlessly. But in the process, you never move forward. You never take action. I want you to think about something you've been putting off because you're worried it won't be perfect. Maybe it's a project, a new opportunity, or a conversation you've been avoiding. Ask yourself, what would happen if you let go of the need for perfection and just took a step forward, mistakes and all? You'd make progress. You'd move closer to your goals. Because here's the truth, progress, not perfection, is what gets you to the finish line. Mistakes aren't failure. They're the most powerful lessons you can learn. The more mistakes you make, the closer you are to getting it right. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start now. Make those mistakes. You'll learn more than you ever will by staying in your comfort zone, trying to avoid failure. If you want to make progress, you have to be willing to embrace imperfection. Perfection is a trap. Mistakes are your freedom. Make them, learn from them, and keep moving forward. Your internal narrative has the power to shape your reality. The stories you tell yourself influence everything, from your decisions to your actions to your outcomes. So what's the story you've been telling yourself? Are you telling yourself that you're not good enough, that you can't succeed, or that failure is the end of the road? Let me tell you something. You can change the story. You can rewrite your script and create a new narrative that empowers you to take bold action. Positive self-talk is one of the most powerful tools you have to overcome the fear of failure. The way you speak to yourself determines how you feel about yourself and what you believe is possible for you. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough or that you can't succeed, then that becomes your truth. But if you shift your self-talk to be supportive, encouraging, and confident, you'll start believing in your ability to succeed. I want you to think about the way you speak to yourself. When you make a mistake, do you berate yourself or do you acknowledge that mistakes are part of the process? When you face a challenge, do you tell yourself that you can't do it or do you remind yourself of your strength and ability to overcome obstacles? Start rewriting your story today. Replace your negative self-talk with affirmations that empower you. Tell yourself that you are capable. Tell yourself that failure is just a lesson. Tell yourself that you will keep going, no matter what. Changing your internal script isn't easy, but it's necessary. The more you change the way you talk to yourself, the more you'll believe in yourself, and the more your actions will reflect that belief. If you want to overcome fear, start with your words, change your narrative, and you'll change your reality. Now let me ask you, are you ready to take bold action, despite the fear? Are you ready to step outside your comfort zone and embrace the risks that will lead you to your goals? Let me tell you something, growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. Staying where it's safe will keep you stuck. But when you step outside of the familiar, when you take that first step into the unknown, that's where the magic happens. Risk is the catalyst for growth. The very thing you're afraid of is the thing you need to embrace in order to unlock your full potential. If you're waiting for the perfect moment, for all the stars to align, you'll be waiting forever. It's time to take action. It's time to take a risk, even if it scares you. That's where your growth begins. Think about someone who took a calculated risk and succeeded. Maybe it's a business leader who took a chance on a new venture, or an athlete who pushed through the pain to achieve greatness. These individuals didn't let fear of the unknown stop them. They took action, and that action led them to success. I challenge you today to think of one risk you can take, something that pushes you out of your comfort zone and challenges you to grow. Maybe it's a decision you've been putting off or a chance you've been afraid to take. Whatever it is, take that step today. You don't have to have it all figured out, but you have to start. Embrace risk, embrace uncertainty, and watch how your life begins to change. The only way to grow is to take risks. Step outside the familiar. It's time to unlock your potential. Have you ever found yourself stuck in the same routine day after day, wishing for change but too afraid to step outside your comfort zone? What if I told you that the very thing holding you back isn't the lack of opportunity? It's your own desire to stay in what's comfortable. Comfort feels safe, but it's also where growth goes to die. The life you want won't come to you while you're hiding behind the walls of comfort. The key to your success is on the other side of the discomfort you're avoiding. Today, we're diving into why your comfort zone is actually the biggest obstacle in your life and how to break free from it. This isn't just motivational talk, it's real, actionable advice on how to challenge yourself, push past your fears, and unlock the growth you've been waiting for. If you're ready to embrace discomfort, to take bold steps forward, and to push through the barriers keeping you stuck, stay with me. What you're about to hear could change the direction of your life. Let's get started. Let's face it, comfort is a silent killer. It lulls you into thinking everything is fine. But let me ask you, when was the last time you really grew while staying in your comfort zone? Never. Growth never happens in comfort. When you choose to stay safe, you're choosing stagnation. You're choosing to settle for what is, instead of striving for what could be. Comfort is like a prison with invisible bars. You may feel safe, but you're stuck. You're stuck in the same routine, the same thoughts, the same habits, and ultimately the same results. It feels secure, but it's a false security. You think you're avoiding risks, but in reality, you're avoiding progress. Every day you stay where it's safe, you're letting your potential slip away. But why do we stay? Why do we keep ourselves in this cage? It's simple, change is hard, and fear of the unknown is powerful. But the unknown is where all the magic happens. The biggest mistake you can make is believing that comfort equals success. It doesn't. Success is found in the uncomfortable, in the places where growth is inevitable because you're challenging yourself. So, how do you break free? It starts with recognizing that comfort is not your ally, it's your enemy. The first step is awareness. Notice when you're leaning into comfort and consciously take the first step toward discomfort. It's not easy, but nothing worth having ever is. I want you to understand this truth. Growth begins where comfort ends. Personal and professional success doesn't happen in the familiar. It happens when you step into the unknown, where uncertainty lives. Discomfort is your signal for growth. It's a message that you're about to expand, to stretch, to become more than you were yesterday. Think about a time when you faced something that scared you. Maybe it was taking on a new responsibility at work, speaking in public, or even just asking for help when you needed it. In those moments of discomfort, you were growing. Discomfort is the fire that forges strength. It is the pressure that turns coal into a diamond. Without it, there is no growth, no progress. Now let me ask you, what's the one thing you're avoiding right now? That one challenge that feels too big, too scary, too risky. I want you to rethink that. The discomfort you're feeling is not a sign to stop. It's a sign to go forward. Seek out discomfort, and when you do, you'll unlock a version of yourself that you never thought possible. Your comfort zone is a cage, and I'll tell you something, no one else built it for you. You did. Every time you chose not to take a risk, not to step up, not to go for it, you built another bar in that cage. The comfort zone is not a gift, it's a trap, and it's one you created yourself. The thing is, most of us don't realize we're trapped. We live in a bubble of security, thinking that we're safe, but really we're stuck. We tell ourselves stories. I'm too busy. I don't have the time. It's too risky. But these are just excuses we use to keep ourselves inside our mental cage. The first step to breaking free is simple: awareness. You have to acknowledge that you've built this cage. Once you understand that, you can start to tear down the walls. It starts small. You don't have to make a giant leap today, but you do need to make the first move. Take one step outside your comfort zone, no matter how small, and you'll start to feel the chains loosen. Listen closely. Big change isn't about taking a giant leap all at once. It's about taking consistent small steps. Every small step outside your comfort zone adds up. Over time, they create momentum, and that momentum becomes unstoppable. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the idea of big changes. But here's the thing, you don't have to overhaul your entire life today. Start small, try something new, take a small risk, challenge yourself in a tiny way. That's how change happens. Not in huge, dramatic moves, but in the little everyday actions that build upon each other. One step at a time, you'll begin to see how much growth comes from just pushing yourself a little further each day. And trust me, those small steps add up. Soon, you'll be far outside your comfort zone, wondering how you ever lived in it in the first place. Here's the hardest truth. The fear of the unknown is paralyzing. It's what keeps most of us stuck in our comfort zones. We don't know what lies ahead, and that scares us. But here's what you need to understand. Uncertainty is not your enemy. It's your opportunity. When you trust the process, you're telling yourself, I don't need to know the outcome to take action. It's the belief that even when you don't have all the answers, the journey itself will teach you what you need to know. Every step, no matter how uncertain, is a step forward. Let me ask you, what's holding you back? The fear of what could go wrong? Or is it the fear of what could go right? If you only take action when everything is certain, you'll never move forward. Trust the process, embrace the unknown, and watch yourself grow in ways you can't even imagine. When you embrace discomfort, that's when the real rewards begin. On the other side of discomfort is transformation. The more you push yourself outside your comfort zone, the more you will see your life change. Think about the last time you took a risk. Maybe it was starting a new project, speaking up for yourself, or doing something that scared you. Afterward, didn't you feel proud, more confident? That's the reward for stepping out of your comfort zone. The feeling of accomplishment, the growth, the new opportunities that appear when you start challenging yourself. The discomfort is worth it. It always is. So don't wait for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. The time is now. Embrace discomfort. Take that step. And when you do, you'll unlock a life of growth, success, and endless possibility. How many times have you had an amazing idea but never acted on it? We all have big dreams, but for many, those dreams never leave the planning stage. Why? Because the number one reason people stay stuck is not a lack of ideas, it's a lack of action. It's easy to get caught up in thinking, planning, and perfecting, but none of that will matter unless you take action. The truth is, action is the key to change. You can't think your way into success. You must do something, anything, to move forward. In this session, we'll dive deep into how you can start taking consistent action, even if you feel overwhelmed by big goals. No more waiting for the perfect moment or the right conditions. It's time to take that first step, even if it's small, and begin your journey. You'll see that with every action, you'll get closer to the life you've been dreaming about. So let's stop talking about it and start doing something about it. The change you're waiting for is in your hands, right now. Ideas, no matter how brilliant, are useless if they stay in your head. I don't care how big your dreams are, or how incredible your vision is. The key to success is action. Think about it, every successful person you admire didn't get there by just thinking. They took action. They made moves, big and small, to turn their dreams into reality. The truth is, the more you plan, the further away your dream seems. You can keep talking about it, keep making plans, keep looking for the right time, but unless you act, it will always stay just an idea. Why do we get stuck in planning mode? It's fear, it's perfectionism, it's self-doubt. We all want things to be perfect before we move forward, and because of that, we keep postponing action. I'll do it when the timing is right, we tell ourselves. But let me tell you something, there's no perfect moment. There will never be an ideal set of circumstances. If you wait for everything to align perfectly, you'll be waiting forever. So how do you break out of this trap? You take the first step, no matter how small. It might not be perfect, but it's a step. And once you've taken one, you'll find it easier to take another. Take a look at someone like Richard Branson. He had an idea for Virgin Records, and he didn't wait for everything to be perfect. He jumped in, took risks, and learned along the way. There were failures, of course, but none of that would have mattered if he hadn't taken that first step. It's about making that move. Once you act, you start to build momentum, and the more momentum you have, the easier it gets. Here's the thing, action doesn't have to be big. You don't have to quit your job and launch a business tomorrow. Action can be as simple as writing down your goals, making a call, or learning something new. The important part is that you start. Even if it's messy, even if you're unsure, just start moving. Once you make that first move, you'll see how much easier it becomes to keep going. If you wait for perfection, you'll be stuck forever. The key is progress, not perfection. Action moves you forward. It gets you closer to where you want to be. So stop thinking about it. Stop waiting for the right time. The best time to start is now. Take that first step and watch what happens next. The only thing standing between you and your goals is the action you haven't taken yet. You might be wondering, but what if it's overwhelming? Let me tell you this, every huge goal you have can be broken down into smaller, manageable tasks. The power of small, consistent steps is what gets you to big results. Think about it. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. The same applies to your dreams. You don't have to do it all at once. Take one small action today and then another tomorrow. The key is to focus on progress, not perfection. When you look at a huge goal, it can feel impossible. But when you break it down into smaller chunks, it suddenly becomes doable. Want to write a book? Start by writing 1 page a day. Want to run a marathon? Start by walking a mile. Small steps, taken consistently, will lead you to that big goal. You don't need to wait for everything to fall into place. You don't need the perfect conditions. What you need is action. Waiting for the perfect moment keeps you stuck in place. It's an illusion that keeps you paralyzed. The best time to act is now. Take that first step today, no matter how small, and start building the life you want. The key to progress is persistence. You don't need to make massive leaps. Success doesn't happen in one giant perfect move. It happens in the small, consistent actions you take every single day. Think of someone like J.K. Rowling. She didn't get to where she is by waiting for the perfect opportunity. She wrote her first book in the midst of adversity. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't quick, but she kept going. Over time, all those small efforts added up to something huge. That's what persistence does. It doesn't matter if you're not seeing immediate results. What matters is that you keep going. Each small step brings you closer to where you want to be. It's not about waiting for everything to align. It's about showing up and taking action every day, even when it feels tough. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need everything to be just right. You just need to start. Start today, right now. Take that first step and keep going. No more waiting, no more excuses. It's time to act. Do you feel like you're constantly falling short of your goals, no matter how hard you try? It's frustrating, right? You make plans, set intentions, and sometimes even give your best effort, but still it feels like you're stuck. Well, I'm here to tell you something you need to hear. Success isn't just about setting big goals. It's about the daily habits you build and maintain. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. Let that sink in for a moment. Every small action you take today has the potential to shape your tomorrow. Whether it's how you manage your time, how you take care of your health, or how you approach your work, your habits define the trajectory of your success. Now let's make one thing clear. This isn't about relying on motivation, which can be fleeting. This is about something far more powerful: habits. They're the daily actions that compound over time and determine whether you'll succeed or not. Today, we're going to focus on how you can transform your habits and start building the foundation for real, lasting change. It's time to stop waiting for motivation and start creating the habits that will carry you forward. Small changes compounded over time can have an incredible impact. By the end of this session, you'll have practical tools to take charge of your habits and begin creating the life you've always dreamed of. Let's get started. Success is not a one-time event, it's a process. Too many people think that success happens in one big moment, a huge win, an unexpected breakthrough, or a sudden stroke of luck. But let me tell you something, that's not how success works. It's the small, repeated actions that you take every single day that build your path to success. The truth is, the actions you take in your everyday life are far more important than the big goals you set. The habits you form are the foundation for everything else. Your success is determined by the habits you have, whether that's how you manage your time, your health, or the way you work. It's all about consistency. Think about this for a second. If you're trying to get fit, you don't just work out once and expect to see results. It's the repeated effort over time that gets you there. Success is no different. Small, consistent actions stack up and lead to massive results. I'm going to share with you a real-life example that illustrates this perfectly. Take Michael Phelps, one of the greatest Olympians of all time. His success didn't come from a few big moments in the pool. It came from years of daily training, focusing on the small things like technique, endurance, and nutrition. He didn't just rely on a natural talent, he built powerful habits every single day. The consistency of his training allowed him to achieve his goals. So let's talk about how you can do the same. The first step is to look at the habits you currently have. Are they helping you? Are they moving you closer to your goals, or are they holding you back? It's time to take a hard look at your daily routines and see where you can make improvements. Start small. Replace one unproductive habit with a positive one, and over time, you'll see just how much progress you can make. Building habits is no easy task. If it were, we'd all have perfect habits by now, wouldn't we? The truth is, forming new habits can feel overwhelming, especially when you're trying to make a big change. But what if I told you that the key to building lasting habits doesn't lie in doing something huge right away? It lies in starting small. I'm talking about starting with just 2 minutes. This is where the 2-minute rule comes in. Here's how it works. When you want to build a new habit, don't start by committing to hours of effort. Start by committing to just 2 minutes. Whether it's exercising, reading, or working on a project, start small. Do something for 2 minutes and then stop. The magic happens when you start small and then build on it. Let me share a real-life example. Take someone who wants to get fit but feels overwhelmed by the idea of spending an hour at the gym. Instead of starting with a long workout, they commit to just 2 minutes of exercise. They might do a couple of push-ups or a quick walk around the block. The key here is that the 2-minute commitment makes it easy to start. Over time, those 2 minutes become 5, then 10, then more. Before you know it, they're consistently exercising every day. If you're struggling to start something new, start with the 2-minute rule. Pick a small task that you can easily complete in 2 minutes and then expand from there. By starting small, you make it easy to succeed. And that success will build your confidence, motivating you to keep going. We've talked about starting small, but what if I told you that you could make your habit building process even easier? The trick is habit stacking. Habit stacking is about attaching a new habit to something you already do every day. It's about building on what's already in place. Let's say, for example, you want to start meditating every day. Instead of trying to find a whole new time in your schedule, attach it to something you already do, like brushing your teeth. After you brush your teeth, meditate for a few minutes. You've just stacked your new habit onto an existing one. This works because your brain already associates brushing your teeth with a specific time and place. By connecting your new habit to something familiar, you're much more likely to stick with it. I'll give you another example. Let's say you want to start journaling every morning. Don't try to find a completely new time to sit down and write. Instead, stack it onto your morning coffee routine. After you pour your coffee, take 5 minutes to jot down your thoughts. Over time, this small habit becomes part of your routine, and it will start to feel natural. The key takeaway here is this: don't try to change everything at once. Leverage what you already do. Attach a new habit to an existing one, and it'll be easier to stick with it. Start small, build on what's already there, and you'll start seeing lasting change. Building habits isn't always easy. In fact, most people struggle to maintain their new habits. Why? Because they face obstacles along the way. You'll hit resistance, you'll face setbacks, motivation will fade. But I'm here to tell you that these obstacles aren't the end. They're just part of the process. The first obstacle many people face is self-doubt. Can I really stick with this? They wonder. The answer is yes, you can. But you need to overcome the temptation to quit when things get tough. One of the best ways to do this is by using triggers. Things that remind you to do your new habit. For example, if you're trying to drink more water, you could leave a water bottle on your desk as a reminder. If you're trying to exercise, put your workout clothes out the night before. Another common obstacle is inconsistency. It's easy to let a few skip days turn into weeks or months, but you need to stay consistent. Even if you slip up, get back on track as soon as possible. Don't let one missed day derail your progress. Finally, make sure you have accountability. Share your goals with someone you trust and ask them to help keep you on track. When you know someone is checking in on you, you'll be more likely to follow through. One of the most powerful ways to stay motivated on your journey to building new habits is by tracking your progress. When you track your habits, you can see your growth. You'll be able to celebrate small wins and keep yourself motivated to keep going. Tracking is simple, but incredibly effective. You can use a journal, an app, or even a checklist, whatever works best for you. The key is to make progress visible. When you see how far you've come, it reinforces the effort and encourages you to keep pushing forward. Take the story of a fitness enthusiast who tracked every workout. At first, it felt like nothing was changing, but by looking at his progress, he saw how much stronger and more consistent he had become. This kept him motivated, and he was able to achieve his fitness goals. Tracking isn't just about seeing progress, it's about staying motivated and reminding yourself why you're doing what you're doing. Celebrate every small win along the way. Each step is a step closer to your goal. As you work on building habits, it's important to make sure those habits align with your bigger goals. If your daily actions aren't connected to your long-term vision, you're going to feel disconnected and unmotivated. Start by asking yourself this question: what are my bigger goals? Whether it's achieving better health, building a successful career, or growing as a person, your habits need to reflect those goals. If your goal is to become an expert in your field, for example, daily reading or learning should become a habit. If your goal is to be in better shape, make exercise a daily habit. Take someone like Bill Gates, who has a long-term vision for education and global health. His daily habits, like reading books and staying informed on important issues, are aligned with his mission. It's not about working towards a goal in the future. It's about making sure your habits reflect the future you want to create. So evaluate your habits and make sure they're serving your bigger purpose. When you build habits that align with your goals, every small action will take you closer to the success you envision.